Live 95.1 presents Youth on the Rise. Youth on the Rise. A radio show by the youth for the youth. Join your hosts Craige, Hardel and Tanya Elias as we shed light on pertinent topics at the cornerstone of our lives and our nation. Tune in to hear our guests every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. as we impart knowledge and guidance to our listeners. Don't forget, every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. on Live 95.1 FM. Youth on the Rise.
Good evening, listeners from St.Lucia online. Welcome to Youth on the Rise. I am your host, Craige Hardel, and with me in studio tonight for our co-hosts we have Valcyn James. Now, the topic for tonight is very interesting one. Tonight we're speaking about infidelity in relationships, and it promises to be a very interesting discussion. A lot to discuss for sure, and we have a lot in store for you. Valcyn?
Yes, I want to say a special good evening to each and everyone locked on to Live 95. And tonight, we're going to do our best to enlighten you as to what we believe basically what cheating is all about. We're going to try to break it down, and we would really like if, we could share, we could learn from each other. You call and, we listen, and vice versa.
And let me add also, for this evening's show, the phone lines open a little earlier, so if you have a contribution to make via WhatsApp or call, please feel free to do so. Okay. Now, Valcyn, let us begin with infidelity and what infidelity actually is. Now, let me give my take on it. Now, infidelity is actually, and listen well, the breaking of a promise to remain faithful to a sexual partner. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I do share the same sentiments as you do. Yeah.
And again, I like to place emphasis on here this definition speaking about sexual partner, but rightly, I actually don't think the partners always have to be sexually involved. It could be a non-sexual relationship. For me, the infidelity, it holds the same weight, similar weight.
Yes.
Again,
I agree.
a sexual relationship would infer a lot more commitment. Therefore, infidelity would hurt a lot more. It sting a lot harder.
Yes. We've how should I put that? With two persons, I believe from the time you have a good relationship with somebody, like and you all kind of actually have it serious. I believe infidelity could play a part in that very quick. Because I could say, like, if you have a good relationship, let's say no, first of all, let me ask, do you think in a sense, like, you have a good relationship with your
spouse?
Like, to me, spouse, I wouldn't really say spouse. I know with spouse, we kind of look at it immediately as infidelity. I want to say, like, more like a good friend of yours. It's nothing like y'all don't really consider yourself as boyfriend and girlfriend, but y'all have a good relationship. And then, like, something were to happen, like you were to go out there and kind of have a jealous. Wouldn't that wouldn't you consider that kind of being you cheating?
Again, it depends on how committed the relationship is. For example, if two people again are sexually involved, or they live together, or they're married, again you need to hold a lot more
with the marriage
weight there. especially the marriage.
Yes.
And again, leading into this point comes, why do people cheat? Very, very interesting. Let me say that men and women are not the same kind of people. They don't think the same way. Their psychology is a little different.
Yes.
Therefore, they cheat for different reasons.
Yes. And I believe there are there's a wide range of
Yes,
reasons why
yes,
people
there
cheat.
are. Again, common ones. Again, as we know, women are emotional beings. They like to know for sure that their emotional needs are being met. And whenever that is compromised, it's very often that they find that, they go to find it
Somewhere else.
somewhere, someplace, sometime. They go to find it. So again, the main reason that women cheat is because that emotional connection that they really feed off is not there anymore. Okay?
That's true.
Now on the other hand, for men actually they're not emotional as women. However, they prefer more of a objective sexual experience. So you find men doing it just for
fun,
as you say. Okay? And not necessarily, again,
macho.
there are exceptions to this, obviously, of course. However, the men are not as emotionally attached as the women are. Okay?
I would say it's majority. There are some you get that are very, 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 very attached to the women. Right? I have come across certain men and I'm like, is he the man or is he the woman?
Again, interesting you say that, because relationships, the dynamic in the relationship can be a little different. You could have a relationship where a man is the more dominant partner per se, right? And one where the woman is more dominant. Again, the needs may actually be a bit different. Again, we may say that women are more emotional than men, but that may not always be the case. Sometimes it could actually be the other way around.
Yeah.
Right?
Then I say it all depends. It all depends.
Yeah,
but
it
generally
depends.
speaking, women are more emotional.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Now, question. Again, what signs do you think would indicate someone being unfaithful?
Oh my god.
What are your signs?
Well, this is kind of very ticklish in a sense, I must say. Very, very, very ticklish. To me, I would say when
Again, listeners, not to cut you off, but again, listeners, number to contribute if you want to have your say is 714-5. Make sure I have it right. 714-5574. Is that it? Yes. 714-5574. Okay, so feel free to have your say as well. Now, again, you were speaking about the reasons the signs that someone is cheating.
yes, like I was saying, my opinion on this is when you realize that the communication, you see a lack of communication in a relationship, a lack of communication, I believe there is something wrong, especially if before, like, you all always had a good communication relationship,
yes.
and this starts to die, especially like, things you all used to do together, you're no longer do.
Yes.
I believe the simplest things would sell out.
And again,
If something is wrong.
I have an interesting quote here by Bert Goldman. And it says that relationships are about communication of needs. And again, that expounds on your point actually. And again, I agree. I think a lot of times when people go out to look for something else, as they say, is because they're not satisfied. Their needs are not being met, whether it is a man or a woman, right? Their needs, be it emotional, be it sexual, whatever the case may be,
But
their
surprising-
needs are not being met.
Surprisingly, sometimes, I still believe some persons just feel like, as if they just want to. It's not that their needs are not being met. They just want to experience something different. It's like they just wanna. It's like how should I say it?
They want to try something new.
According to a friend of mine, it's like you're tired of driving the same vehicle. It's like every time you have that vehicle and you're tired of driving, so you want a new vehicle. You're just gonna go get a new vehicle and just gonna feel how it rides, and then.
But then again, that need for variety, wouldn't it come from not being satisfied?
Not necessarily.
If you're completely happy, why would there be a need to go out?
Let me see. Probably you go and you've heard about certain. It's like you go among your friends and you hear your friends talking about some particular thing, and you're like, as if
You
that
crave the
just-
experience.
Yeah, it's like you just want to go and experience that.
Okay.
It's not that you're not satisfied just because your friends talking about. I went up Go Piton, and then Go Piton, I saw the nice view. You figure, well, as if that's just something you want to go and see for yourself. And I believe in a sense, friends have a part to play in that, because I believe cheating could also be part of, like, your friends, the influence your friends have on you. Especially if you're not somebody that has a very high self-esteem, like you're sure of yourself,
Okay.
and you hear your friends talk about something, and all of a sudden, because you hear that, you wanna do,
Right.
So I believe friends could have an impact as to whether people cheat or not.
Okay. Now let me share a bit of info here. Now, when two people are attracted to each other, let's keep it that way. Again, we're not trying to discriminate here. Whatever sex, when two people are attracted to each other, again, there are certain chemicals in the body that certain hormones that are released, okay, which creates that feeling, and with time creates that bond. So for example, when you just meet somebody, again, you find people saying they have butterflies in the belly. Again, you hear those sayings, butterflies in the belly, butterflies in the stomach. And after a while, as the interaction develops, if it develops, that is, you find those who are serious about forming a relationship, those butterflies actually get replaced by genuine attraction, and then where people begin to say that they actually love somebody. Okay, so it's not just that initial
Lust.
yes, it's not just the lust, but it's actually genuine love. Now, again, expanding on your points, what are the signs rather that people cheat? Now, another thing you have to consider is not just people's needs not being met. However, you have to consider that sometimes people actually not even sure of what they
how they
want.
feel actually. That's true.
So you find when someone cheats, again, I just spoke of chemicals being released when someone is attracted to one another. So when someone cheats, that process is repeated while you have a partner. Okay, so let us say we have a couple, and then a man, for example, sees another woman and gets attracted to her. Those emotions which he originally felt for his current
girlfriend
spouse or girlfriend may be stronger in the other one, and he may get the urge to act on that.
Right.
So that is where the process actually begins. And cheating, whether he cheats or not, is whether he acts on it or he chooses not to.
Yeah.
And that goes for females as well.
Yeah, both men and women. Well, that in a sense differentiates between a man and how should I call it, a boy, should I say? Because it's not everything that you feel you should act upon.
Okay, yes. Again, it's interesting because we live in a world where we have different cultures, different beliefs, different societal norms. Okay, so in other societies we have polygamous relationships where it's actually okay to have more than one person. However, for our monogamous society, it is accepted, or it is a lot more commendable when, or I should say it's looked down upon when one loses that control in which they simply act on an impulse that they get. Say if they have somebody else and they see somebody else you're attracted to, they just go at them.
Yeah, then it's like, to me that's in a way a sense of childish. It's like a child, you see a mango, you like to see the mango, you go there. I don't really believe in such, you know.
And again, such a lack of emotional maturity actually is the reason why people make a lot of mistakes in life.
Yes.
They have children and say it was a one night stand or just an experience that they would regret. So
yeah, and also I believe that's one of the reasons why you have people you get a lot of people tell you like they don't believe in love, they don't believe in this. It's because of these little emotions that we feel, you know, immediately you see somebody, you act upon it, and it's like we just take it too fast. And then, you know, realize later, a month down the line, then you realize, no, that's not the person that you're looking for. Then, you know, you're saying, well, oh, no, I love that person so much and this is not working. But what we fail to realize, we never take sufficient time to get to know somebody before we, you know, we progress too fast in a relationship.
Yeah, again, a lot of relationships.
So that's why we have hearts being broken, families being broken, and all this kind of stuff.
And again, a lot of relationships, they go down the drain because simply those people in the relationship simply aren't mature enough to know for sure what they want. And again, they don't know what they want in the sense that they have something, yet they're still launching at something else.
Yes.
Again, in my view, and again, strictly that's my opinion, if there is something else that you like, it is better that you leave for that thing rather than try to drink juice from both straws at the same
time.
Right?
Yes.
Again,
but let me say, men are actually guilty of that, you know, men.
Women as well.
Women.
Listeners, it would have been very nice if we had a woman here. Again, I really feel that we really need a female voice here.
A female touch too.
Again, but yes, both genders are guilty of this. Both genders. Okay. Studies have actually revealed that men and women actually both cheat for mainly sexual reasons. Again, there is a misconception that men are more sexual than women, and that has actually been found to not be the case.
Let me just see the point. In a sense, I'm not defending men, but it has been proven that, you know, to every let me get it right. I don't want to roughly, let's say for every five men, for every 5 women, basically a man should have 5 women.
Explain.
In a sense that the ratio of men to women, there are so many women compared to men. It's like women like, it's like a man basically will not be able to stick to one woman because he goes out there, he sees another woman. This other woman actually needs a companion, and she herself, she's interested in him.
Again, listeners, is trying to say that he's not advocating men having more than one woman at the same time. He's actually trying to say that the ratio of men to women, there are a lot more men than
more women.
A lot more women than men. So again, that brings me to my next point actually, because again, sometimes when cheating occurs, we like to blame men, and sometimes it's my opinion the women deserve some of the stick as well.
Of course, because for cheating to happen, it cannot be one side. You must have two persons willing.
Yeah.
So that cheating can take place. Even if I agree and the other person does not,
it doesn't happen.
It does not happen. She must agree. So hence, in a sense, you cannot seem to only blame the man or the woman. Both persons are supposed to be held responsible.
Okay. Again, listeners, you are free to give your opinion. You are free to contribute to our fruitful discussion here. Again, the number 714-5574. Again, let me repeat, 714-5574. Okay, Valcyn. Now, let us move on to another issue here. Again, we've established that men and women cheat for different reasons, and we've touched on them. But the other thing I want to touch on is that, is cheating ever forgivable? That is highly debatable.
Well,
what are your views?
Then, in my personal opinion, I would say, although we say all cheating is cheating, but in my personal opinion, I wouldn't really say that.
Why?
Because to me it depends. Cheating, to me, if I see you like, probably I meet you kissing somebody, then probably I can forgive that. But to me, if I see you like making love to somebody, having sex with somebody, then to me this is nah. To me, this one is almost unforgivable.
Again,
I'm not saying probably I might not, but off the bat here right now, I don't think I would.
Okay. Now again, we're not saying that cheating is right. Probably cheating being flat out, cheating is not right. But for me, cheating being forgivable is highly debatable, and it is dependent on how grave the infidelity was and how committed a relationship that the two of you had.
Yes.
Again,
yes,
you need to
that's
consider
true. That's
people
true.
who have children. Okay.
That's
so
true.
again, separation would be a lot more complicated. People who are married, right? Adultery. People who live together, right? So again, one is how close you are, how committed the two of you are together.
Yes.
And the other is how grave the cheating was. Okay. Again, as you mentioned, of course, for me, again, that is strictly our opinion. Listeners, you can contribute as well. Again,
I have a question.
Sex is for me one of the worst ways that someone can cheat.
Yeah.
And again, people have preferences. People would, for example, find sex unforgivable. For some people, it may not be that way. It could simply be someone kissing somebody else, not returning phone calls, lying, right? Especially women, they don't seem to like that very much. Someone lying a lot. Okay, again, normally you find inconsistencies in certain patterns of behavior. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't even need to get to that stage, and it just needs to be that the person has a suspicion that you're doing that, and just depends on who.
Yeah,
They may
the
just
person
decide to
break it
sever
up.
the relationship.
Yes.
You had a question?
But don't you think that some persons in relationship, some persons like they forgive each other just because of the amount of investment that they have made in that relationship?
Interested.
To see you
sometimes I would say that you just have to compromise. Again, the level of investment, commitment. Again, sometimes it's a lot harder to separate. Again, that is why a lot of people distrust certain things like marriage. Again, that is not my opinion, I'm just saying so. A lot of people, they just don't do it because if something went wrong and they would have liked to leave that particular relationship, it would be too costly, not just for them but for whatever dependencies that they have, that is children, on whoever else that they support. However, yes, I would say sometimes it happens, and I believe, especially with women, a lot of them seem to be, well, again, that is very subjective. A lot of women, men as well, women, are dependent on the other partner financially. So they may be in a position where even if they know for sure the other person has cheated, because that dependency is there, they don't know.
Right.
And that is very bad, and that is one of the things that spawns abuse. Okay, so you find it being highly justifiable someone leave a relationship, but it's still there. And again, sometimes we wonder why people are going through this and they're going through that, and why they're tolerating such abuse. But you don't. One thing you should realize, probably the person is dependent on the other person. So the cheating partner feels like they can do what they want, right?
Yes.
Get away with it.
Yeah, this cheating partner feels like, you know, he's
He's
in
the
charge.
boss. Yeah.
So it's like, even if I cheat, you're just supposed to sit and accept that I'm cheating.
Yeah. And again,
this is actually wrong, very bad.
yes, it is. I believe both partners, for relationship to be healthy, both partners need to respect each other.
Yes, I believe so.
They need to respect each other.
Yes, 100%.
Again,
Respect each other.
Everyone has their standards, but there need to be a healthy level of not just respecting, but self-respect as well. What you don't tolerate. Okay, a lot of times people, they hold their words in and they don't speak out. They don't speak out, but it shouldn't be so. Okay, and again, sometimes you find partners actually being afraid to speak out. They're afraid because they're afraid of losing their crutch in a sense. Okay, if they're dependent, say financially, what if this one gets fixed? I say that, right? And they want to put me out or what have you. Okay, so there's a lot of fear sometimes going in there, and because these emotions and thoughts are not expressed, you find people doing a lot of things that they don't want to do, cheating one of them. Okay, and you find people generally being very unhappy in relationships. Yeah. Now, again, let me touch on something else. One thing social media has caused is actually an increase in divorce rates, again, marriage, but infidelity on the whole. And that is because, again, studies have shown that is because we have partners have a wider pool of people to choose from, and many times they get tempted a lot more. Okay, and that just goes to show sometimes technology may not always help us. And I recall reading an article and saying that is it the Adventist religion? some churches in the US, they actually advocate that their members do not use social media.
Serious.
Yeah. Because of the infidelity that
That
it brings about. Yeah. Again,
strange.
that is debatable. Of course it
It
is.
is. It is.
It is.
It is. It is.
But it just shows you how far we, or rather people, have gone to make sure that we ensure that we do what is morally right. Whether or not that should have been done or that should be enforced, that's debatable. We're leaving it open. However, this shows that one of the destructive aspects of technology. And again, think of it. It's very easy to send a text, a nice text, right? Or for information to travel really quick.
Very quick.
Very
quick.
quickly. So again, the social interaction is not even too much of an excuse. You can just go somewhere, meet, and that's it. Okay? So again, social media plays a big role because again, social network, you see a lot more people, okay, a lot more profiles. So again, our feelings towards people actually are influenced by social media, whether you believe it or not. Someone who has a appealing profile may actually get liked. And again, not that I think it's the way that people should perceive others. However, sometimes you have to be careful what you put out there, because people can actually form an image of you based on what you put out to the world.
Yeah.
Now, Valcyn, let us talk about marriage. Now, again, as we have said a few times before, when two people are married, the level of commitment is a lot deeper. There's a lot more commitment. There's a lot more that is on the line to lose. If one partner is guilty of adultery, cheated, do you think that it would be better if they stick it out, or they just cut ties? Again, I'm asking this because sometimes a lot of people who've been in relationships for a long time normally use the excuse that, or normally say that rather, they're afraid of starting over, and I've been with this person for that long, and
All my life,
it wouldn't make sense. But what do you think of that? What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, I believe if one of the partners are caught cheating or has cheated, I believe it should send you a message that something is wrong somewhere, and that you should sit down with your partner and try to find out what was the cause of this person going out to cheat.
Okay.
I believe that's the first step. That's what I believe is the first step. You do that, and if things does not, if there's not a solution to that, then I still believe you should try that again.
My belief is that, and again, that is strictly my opinion. Okay, you're welcome to disagree with me. However, my belief is that it depends. Again, for me, you should not be afraid to start over. And I know it is scary. It's very scary. Think of someone who's been in a relationship for 20, 30 years, or rather been married for that long. It is
Okay, so what if you've
scary.
been married for, let's say, 50 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is scary when they've been together. Again, that is, when we say married for 30 years, they may have been together for 10 or 20. So let's make that 50. They've been together
Yeah.
for a while.
You've
So
been
again-
together for a while and you have kids. Wouldn't that look bad to see like your kids look at mommy and daddy as a role model. And none
again-
of the kids know. None of the kids know that probably, let's say, daddy is cheating. None of the kids know that dad is cheating. And m- mom knows that. But because of the fear that what impact it might have on the kids, she'll just keep it to herself and stay with the pain.
I don't agree. She won't keep it to us. Probably she would try to keep it from the children. She won't necessarily keep it to herself. Well, the impact if they divorce or they separate, yes, I agree. And again, that is common. That is quite common. But a lot of times, the divorces, when they happen, I believe it has to be done with the children in mind as well. Again,
Of course.
I always think that marriage counseling, it works. Some people say they don't need it, but it works. Okay, it works.
Yeah, I
At
believe,
least you get a fresh,
I believe so.
a fresh
It does.
perspective.
It does.
But the children are important. Okay, and again, yes, it impacts their lives, schooling, self-confidence, right? Because sometimes the divorce is public and there might be a bit of shame in that as well. Again, you never know. Okay, it might impact, and even if they don't get pestered by other people, it might impact the children's self-esteem. Okay,
Yeah,
they might,
emotionally, I believe children do.
they might not think that they're up on par with others. Okay, so my mother or my father was not exemplary, so I do not think that I am good enough, right? They blame it on themselves, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Some
Eventually they begin
kids,
to think that it's their fault.
yeah, some kids
or
actually blame themselves for
I am
their
not
parents
good
being
enough.
break up. Yes.
I am not good enough. And the sad thing is that they actually grew up to emulate that same behavior. Okay, that is the sad thing. Okay, so again, what is hurtful is that sometimes when you find someone who cheats a lot or who is very abusive in a relationship, they may be that way because that is the way that they know how to relate to their partner, whether it's a woman or a man. And that is why, again, parents, it's important that you try your best, your utmost to be good role models for your children. Be good role models for your children.
I agree.
And we always like to consider ourselves. However, when again we spend a lot of time on children because it's very important. Again, when children come into the fray, they have to be given a lot of thought because they're young, heavily influenced by you,
By parents.
and whatever you do, it has an impact on them,
A significant
the
impact. on the kids.
self-perception and the future as well. Okay, so you need to give a lot more consideration to that.
Yeah, I
Now,
believe.
what I want to do is to get your thoughts on what we can do to solve this problem, what we can do to help prevent cheating. Let us first go outside of marriage. Again, we're single out, living marriage, put marriage on aside slightly, outside of marriage, okay? Say a common law relationship, then we'll touch marriage. How do you think what steps do you think one can take to prevent cheating?
Well, cheating in a sense, can this be prevented? That I'm not too sure if cheating can actually be prevented. That I'm not sure. But I would say
Or rather, to prevent getting into a situation where.
where okay, one can cheat. All right. Yeah. I would say first of all, I believe number one factor that could help reduce that communication. Good communication between partners. I believe with a good communication and your partners express their feelings, their emotions to each other and tell them how they feel in certain situations. I didn't like what you did to me today. I didn't like when we went by to the party what you said. And people, then you share your opinions and then you all could understand each other better.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think it's a matter of self-confidence as well, because that is what, in my view, is the main thing that hinders the communication.
Right.
So people not confident.
Yes. If you're not feeling, if you're not,
you need to be confident in yourself. Again, if you're comfortable with, if you choose to expose yourself to your partner, okay, you have to be comfortable with them. That is, and again, people stay in relationships they're not comfortable with.
Well,
Again, if you're not comfortable revealing your entire self or your entire personality to somebody, you should move on.
yes, something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong.
Because you will not just that you'll be unhappy, but your needs will be unmet. Simple. Your needs will be unmet. Even if you fake it, the relationship will not last.
Yes, that's true.
Now let's go on with your recommendations so that someone will not get into a situation where they would cheat.
Yes, my recommendations again, like I was saying, number one, I would say communication. And I believe it tends to happen that when people just enter a relationship, they start dating, then you'll see all that nice, all that nice front. The person will, show you their best side, and they will show you that for a couple of probably like a month, 2 months, probably as long as 3 months, and make you believe, well, okay, that's actually who I am, and not being themselves. Now you seeing that, taking that and saying, well, okay, that's the kind of person that I want, because that's the portrait the person has painted for you, and you're not knowing better, accepting that portrait, and then taking things serious, moving down. In the next 6 months down the line, things begin to change, because this person is comfortable with you, and now the person is actually letting out their true colors.
Yeah, the true self is beginning to show.
Then you're like, is that the person I met? When did he or she get like that? And that's another reason why relationships don't last. They put up a false image at the forefront, and later on down the line, that's not the person. The person was just putting out an image.
Again, one thing, I think one place where age comes in, not just age but experience. The main reason that people cannot communicate is because they don't know what they want. Okay, they lack the experiences to really know themselves, to be sure of themselves. First of all, not just know what they want, what they don't want. Okay, so sometimes we like to consider our successes, but we ignore the failures. The failures are important too. Okay, it helps us understand ourselves. It helps us to understand what is not right for us, and it helps us later down the line to fine-tune who we are as people, so that we'll be happier. So again, when people are young, they like to experiment. I know they like to experiment.
Yeah,
they like to experiment.
I'm not saying it's not a thing. It's not wise to experiment, but then I believe a lot of, I would say especially young ladies, they like to, it's like they go in relationships too quick at a tender age. It's like when you're 15, 16, You know, they believe they're in love when no, they're not. It's just emotions kicking in, and you know they're reacting to that. Uh, In my personal opinion, I believe a young lady will be better off. I believe she'll make a better decision if
Uh-huh.
she starts dating at, let's say, 19, 20, around there.
Why do you think so?
Then because I believe there's that part of the brain, the frontal cortex of your mind.
All right, prefrontal cortex.
Yes, it's in a woman. It's fully developed around in the 20s. By
Okay.
early 20s, her frontal cortex is already fully developed. But with guys, it's later. Guys is 25. So I believe then, you know, they are more mature, I should say. So then I believe they'll be able to make a better decision along with their parents' advice, because you know a lot of young ladies, you know, they tend to, you know, before the guy says hi and presents them such, you know, but
They tend to give in.
yeah, but you know, with the parents see, you know, they could actually see through the guys and tell you, well, no, this guy is not good, this is just a picture he's painting there, you know. So I believe, yeah, I say around 19, 20, and first thing you do, you present, you know, you let your mom know or your dad know, well, this is the young person
Again.
that I'm dating.
A lot of young ladies, Valcyn, are not into that anymore.
I'm telling you, they're not.
Again, it's not just young ladies. Alright, I'm not going at young ladies. Young guys make those decisions as well. But normally, normally the young ladies have a lot more seemingly to us. Okay, you have a lot more risk, for example, pregnancy. Right, so that is why you put a little more emphasis on the young ladies. But both parties, both parties stand to lose, and there is almost just as much risk when things go very wrong. Young men, teenagers, quite immature as well. A lot of them, again, they just want to experience things for the first time,
Yeah.
and they don't really, they're not sure of their interests as yet. And even if they knew what they liked, their decisions, for me, they chase the wrong things too early, right? They don't look after the
Yeah.
futures.
Yeah. Priorities are kind of mixed up.
Yeah, it's mixed up. They don't. Again, a lot of things a lot of mistakes I see young people making is that they believe just romance and romance and romance, and there's this saying that love will not pay the bills, right? So in other words, you need to make sure that you always consider your future, your education, how knowledgeable you are, what direction in which your life is going, your spirituality as well. Okay, your connection with your faith, that is important as well.
Yeah, and one thing I have realized that if I may say that I have realized when it comes to relationships, I have realized that people don't actually stay with persons that don't match, I feel like, their lifestyle. Like in terms of, let's say, like you have a rich man and he meets this, let's say, almost poor person. It's probably he might date this young lady. Yes, he will, but in the long run, majority of the times that I have met persons in such, majority of the times I find that the man ends up cheating with somebody more of his level, in terms of like has same probably his level of education and this kind of stuff. So I believe that you should kind of, I'm not saying that you must, if you get somebody who has much more education than you and is willing to treat you good and, you know,
And help you develop.
I'm not saying no, but majority of the times these relationships don't last. They don't, majority of the times.
My take on it is that people need to get in relationships for the right reasons, first and foremost. Again, as he mentioned, where there is a disparity in say education or financial status or popularity between two people. It has to be healthy. I don't see a problem with that disparity. However, and here is where it comes, where it gets a little ticklish. Both people need to be helping each other grow. Okay? If that rich guy you mentioned is not helping the impoverished one, say, for education or financially, or not just using her for something, but just helping her become a better person, the relationship is not healthy. You have to be better coming out than you went in.
Very good. I agree to that.
And that is where that is what defines a quality relationship.
A healthy relationship.
There has to be value. Okay. Now, young ladies and young men, and older ladies and older men, you need to choose properly. Okay. If, again, we love to go for money. We love to go for money. However, if that person is not helping you grow, become a better person, you shouldn't be there. Okay?
Yes.
That, of course, you have to have fun. I mean, you have to enjoy the relationship. But growth is important. You becoming a better person is important.
Very important.
Time is not stagnant. Okay? The world is very competitive, and we need to always try to become the best that we can be. And again, not just in a financial sense, spiritually as well. Okay?
Yes.
Find people who are closer to your faith, someone who will help you move in the direction,
Very good.
in a more positive direction.
way. Somebody
Okay.
will actually help build you and not break you.
Yes. Someone who will not turn you away from your values.
Yes. And actually somebody will not that will not let you actually depend on them totally. Somebody will help you, because in a relationship I find that some persons, if you're too dependent on one partner, you know, I don't believe that's a good thing for you who's dependent on that partner. This is actually breaking you down.
Yeah. I agree.
If the person were to just leave or something were to happen, how would you be? How would you stand?
What position would you be in? Yeah, and that is where the helping one another for me comes in.
Yeah, I believe a good relationship has to be, you know, both persons helping out each other, helping them grow.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people stay in relationships because, say, sex is good or something, but you need to think further than that. Again, yes, that is important. However, who you are as a person always will take precedence. Okay, you may go through your life and have many partners, many relationships, but you're only one person, and you're just moving through the world. You're just moving through and living your life. Okay, so yourself, who you are, is important. Okay, and we need to see ourselves as entities who are developing, and not just someone in a particular situation, or someone who is just there for the time. Okay, I really think that is necessary. And again, a lot of times we get advice from people who are more experienced than us, and we feel that because we're young, we're independent, we should not pay heed to the advice. Again, you need to remember that those people who were once your age, they were once in your situation, and even if maybe you not take it, you at least you need to consider it. Okay, you need to consider whatever advice that you get, because people, a lot of us, we're young, and as much as you think that you know, a lot of times you actually don't. Okay, the more that you go through life and you have more experiences and more experiences upon more experiences, the more that you see things that people were saying but you didn't behave to, or you just learn more about yourself. So who we are, as time goes by, it changes. So that is why we need to make sure that we latch on to the best advice, okay, and we consider all front parts.
Very true.
Now, Valcyn, we've had a very long talk. Messages came in. We've had a very long talk. Any last words? Any last words?
Well, my last words, very short. Before persons get into relationship, first of all, I believe you should do a background check on that individual that you're willing to date. Don't just go because the person tell you hi, hello, and just rush into a relationship. I think you should research. Now we have access to almost everything now, so I don't think getting information about a particular person will be that difficult.
And again, even if it's not social media, word of mouth as well, because
You
word
will.
travels
Whatever
really quickly.
I believe if you want something and you really want it, you could get it.
Yeah.
So
And again, not to interrupt it too much, but sometimes you have to learn to just think for yourself too. Okay, because sometimes you may get an impression of somebody that's not accurate. I need to learn to discern whether you go with that or you don't.
yeah. So then again, like I was saying, you gotta know what you want and set your priorities straight, and then aim for your goal. You know, in life, you know, we have disappointments, you have hurdles, you have obstacles, which, but yes, you will come across, and the thing about it is not like you falling down. It's how quick you get up and you continue. Everybody has or will face obstacles, and the quicker you realize that yes, you did something wrong, and you get up and you try to fix it and you go ahead, then blaming yourself, oh, I did this wrong and how could I. All you have to do, when you get that rock or that mountain, whatever it may be, you just have to make sure like you understand that like yes, you have this to do, and you do it, and you do it in the best way that you can. Your life is more like a race. I wouldn't say in a sense. For those who like to drive, it's a race. But for other persons, you may tend to look at it in a different perspective. But life is a good thing. I must say, it's sweet. It's nothing too difficult about life. It's just a mindset persons have, and they that kind of keeps them back. But according to a song, one day at a time, and you will make it step by step, and you will build that home, that house, whatever you want, you will get there.
Now, my words. For me, infidelity is wrong, first and foremost. But you need to be logical in how you assess it, how you deal with it, how you act on it. And I don't encourage emotional decisions. As much as it may feel right, take your time and assess what are the consequences, what are the implications of action you may take, because the impact may be a lot wider than you might realize. And also, know thyself, know yourself. It starts from you, It starts from you. We like to blame others. Sometimes causes of problems can't really be us. It could be you in many ways. One, you need to develop some self-confidence. You need to be able to know who you are, what influences you will accept in your life, what situations you will tolerate. Yes, situations you will tolerate. Right? A lot of people, the standards are way too low in my view. Standards are way too low. Right? Again, when your tolerance for bad things or bad practices other people do, or even you do, is a little lower, it sets the standard a little higher. Okay? You find a partner respect you a lot more. So that is important. Okay? The respect that you get, the respect that you give as well. Yeah. Also, you need to develop a very good rapport, understanding with your partner. And if it is not there, or if you're not satisfied with the level that is going to over time, leave. Okay, a lot of us, we like to stay in the little hole that we are. Alright, we don't like to move. Okay, it's too comfortable, it's too cozy. No, go. Alright, you may have to sacrifice a lot. You may have to struggle in some ways, but you know what you'll have? You'll have a peace of mind. Okay? Your intuition will be on your side. You will, in the long run, be a lot happier. Alright? So, please know what you want, know what you'll accept, and know what is right for you. Okay? That is my advice to the listeners. Again, always do things for the longer haul. Don't stay in any bad situation that isn't worth it. Okay? Do not hold on to anything that is not progressive, anything that won't get you anywhere. Okay? Yes, that is my take on it. The listeners, you've been listening to infidelity in relationships, the topic for today, and that is now the end of our show. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to speak on a few notable achievements. I'd like to congratulate the Valcyn combined school for making it to the finals of Anansi's Challenge. Today they defeated Monipo combined Canries and Tiroshe, and they're now among the finalists, which are Denry Premi, Vidbute Premi, and Moshi combined. Okay, so hats off to Valcyn. Listeners, stay tuned. Tune in to our show next week. We have more line for you. We're just beginning. It has been another episode of Youth on the Rise. Good night. Goodbye.